It's not too late to change. It's not too late to become someone different than who you've defined yourself your entire life. I want to tell you that no matter how you are feeling today, this has been a heavy week for a lot of people in the world. Hi, everybody. My name is Craig. Welcome to A Side of Hustle. Our goal here is to move 10,000 people from stupidly broken to fully free in soul and heart and mind and strength and wallet. And so in those 5 areas, I just want you to know that just because you have mistakes from your past, or just because maybe the way you feel about things, the way you think about things are changing, but you're scared to make the move. You're scared to make a move in what you believe about whatever sort of things that you've grown up with, maybe the way that you're leaning in your life. And I'm going to just cover those 5 areas. So let me just start with this. Maybe you're scared to start believing in Jesus because you've been so angry with how you were treated by other Christians or how you were treated by the church sometime in your past. I get it. I've been involved in church pretty much my entire life. And some of the greatest, most painful things that have ever happened to me happened in the walls of a church. But you know what? That doesn't stop me from pursuing the person of Jesus Christ. Even as I reflect on some of those hurtful, harmful things that people did to me. And I had to realize, look, I don't have to be defined by those people. And your view of Jesus doesn't have to be defined by Christians who have hurt you in your past. And maybe you're feeling this call and this urging to follow Jesus, and you're just like, but I can't do it. How do I tell everybody that I'm a follower of Jesus, even though I've never been, and I used to talk so bad against him? There are so many examples in the Bible. Of course, most notably is the Apostle Paul. He went from killing Christians to being a Christian who was persecuted himself. And just in the light of all the things that have happened this week, maybe God is just knocking on the door of your heart saying, please, let me in. Let me in. It's not too late to change. And then just talking about your heart in general, the things that you care about. You know, I've had to realize that in my life, I didn't really grow up until about 5 years ago. Even though I'm well into my 40s now, I didn't even start to grow up. It wasn't until after I was married, till after I had kids. And honestly, it really wasn't until after 2020 hit and I realized how much of a coward and a selfish person that I was. And I'm realizing, like, what a waste. But I don't want to be defined by that. And it wasn't too late for me to change. So if it wasn't too late for me to change in my 40s, it's not too late for you to change if you're in your 40s, your 30s, your 20s, or honestly, even if you're in your 70s, 80s, or 90s. It's not too late. It's not too late for you to say, look, just because I've done that in my past, that doesn't have to define who I am anymore. And so your heart, there can be change. You can start to have compassion in a new way. You can start to care about people in a different way than you've ever cared about people before. One of my favorite videos that I recorded for this channel is my transformation process of going from looking at people as objects to people that I can actually look to serve, and kind of that whole transformation. And really, this channel is, as much as it is about helping people get financially free, it's really about getting free in every area of their life. And that was a huge turning point for me when I realized that, look, I'm not out here to take advantage of people. I'm out here to bless every person that I possibly can when I come in contact with them. And I'm still not perfect, but I am making that change. And I know you can make that change. If your heart has been hurt, but maybe also softened this week, I urge you, don't turn away from this softened heart, because the time and the opportunity to make the change is now when your heart is soft. Because honestly, if your heart is soft and you don't act on it now, it's just going to grow harder in the weeks and months ahead. The time to act is now. In your mind, it's okay to change your beliefs. It's okay to change the way you think about things. Maybe you've been the type of person who just kind of has never really looked at some of the political debates in a real way because you don't really care about politics. But maybe this week you realize that politics cares about you. One of my friends made that post on Facebook tonight. And like, you maybe don't care about politics, but understand that politics cares about you. And I try to be very non-political on this channel. I try to be mostly focused on helping people and sharing about my journey and my story. But maybe your mind needs to change on certain issues because you're starting to see like it's not just about a political issue, it's about a belief system and where a belief system will ultimately lead you to. For me, my belief system is that life is valuable at every stage, and I try to be involved with every possible way that I can within my limited means to be supporting life, to be encouraging people who are having down days, supporting people from when the moment that they are conceived all the way through the moment that they die, that they can live a life that is aiming to Jesus from start to finish. And maybe your mind is being changed on some things. It's okay to change. It's okay to allow these events to show you, like, look, maybe you had certain blind spots, and maybe those blind spots have been revealed, and it's now time to make that change. Your strength. And I was thinking about this today because, a lot of times I like to think that I'm kind of healthy, but I really don't take care of my body the way that I should. I really don't treat my body as well. And as a result of that, I sometimes don't. I'm not able to maximize what I can do for other people because I'm tired. I'm tired. Why am I tired sometimes? Because I don't take care of myself. And for me, this is probably the biggest thing, which is who would think with the events of this week that the thing that I want to really get changed on is taking care of my body in a better way. But it really is true because if I only have so many hours each day, the last thing I want to do is to be spending 12 or 13 of those hours resting and taking naps and recovering and all these things because I'm not physically taking care of myself to the level that I want to do. And I don't even have a plan yet. I'm just telling you, like, it's okay to change. If your body hasn't been taken care of by you, it's okay to change and start taking care of your body. It's okay to start changing your diet, changing your exercise habits. Again, I don't care how old you are, how young you are. In fact, the younger you are, the more I encourage you to make these changes today because you're going to get so much more of a benefit out of it than I or someone older than me ever would. But it's okay to make those changes. And your wallet, that's the last thing. And we talk a lot about that on here because that's just what a lot of people are interested in. But it's okay to evaluate your spending habits. It's okay to cut those subscriptions. It really is. It's okay to decide, look, I don't really care about those movies anymore because those movies are just programming me to believe things that I don't want. It's okay to take that money and reallocate it towards other things, to charities, to churches, to helping other people who are in need, to buying groceries for that person you can tell is struggling ahead of you in line, to buy that tank of gas for that person who's in need, to give that $5 away to that person, even if you're not 100% sure they're going to use it in the right way. But maybe that's a freedom thing that you need to do. Even though we're in the midst of a major debt-free journey, we just restarted our giving. And it's not much, but it is part of a thing of saying, look, we need to make sure that every part of our lives are focused on Jesus. And we don't have much we can give right now, but with the very little bit that we have, we're going to do that. And if that means I just have to sell one extra item or take one extra delivery to pay for that, then that's what I'm going to do. Because I just want to make sure that we're trending in that right direction. And it was really cool because we started giving and, since we started giving, all that money has already come back. And I'm not saying to give to get back, but since we started giving, I found cash in swim trunks, which I documented on this channel. We discovered that live. And then I got 2 more cash tips today. Literally every dollar that we've given since we restarted over the last month, we've already gotten back in surprises. And you know what that does? That just builds the confidence. And that's what I'm saying. You can make the change. I don't know what change you need to make, but I know that you can make the change. And even though it may cost you something, right? It cost Charlie Kirk something to make the changes and do that. And yet I look at him and he has accomplished way more in his 31 years than I have. And I had more than a decade head start on him. And that's humbling. Not to say that I'm trying to compare myself to Charlie Kirk, but to say he didn't waste. And I listened to lots of testimonies of people sharing about Kirk this week that he was just the first one there, the last one to leave, the first one to volunteer resources, time, whatever was needed to help people. And when he would identify someone, and it was story after story after story from all these different people who the one thing they had in common was Charlie Kirk. They didn't even all know each other, but you heard the same stories over and over again. I'm like, that should be me. I should be the type of person. I want to be the first one up. I want to be the last one to bed. I want to be the one who's answering every comment, praying for every request that comes through on these videos. I want to be the one that's there, the first one there at the thrift store. I want to be the one who is the fastest delivery driver that I possibly can be. I want to be the one who's there and awake and ready to go when my kids wake up, and I'm there to say goodnight to them. And I want to be the one that's doing all these things. And look, I have a lot to go on this. This is not a message of perfection, but this is a message to me and to you that yes, I can change. Yes, you can change. And I promise if you start making the changes that you know you need to make in your life, and you start making them right away, the sooner you make them, the more they can compound to become bigger and bigger changes. So whether it's your soul, your heart, your mind, your strength, your wallet, or a mix of all those, or maybe something else that I didn't even mention that doesn't fall in those categories, whatever it may be, I know that you can change. And honestly, you must change if you're going to become the person ultimately that you're supposed to be. And I'm going to tell you this, change with no shame, with no regrets, with no hurt, with no saying, oh, I wish. No, don't do that. Don't change looking backwards. Change looking forwards. I saw a little meme today that was really, really simple, but it illustrates this point. There's a reason why the windshield is much bigger than the rearview mirror. Say goodbye. Say goodbye to those things from your past that no longer define you, nor do you want to be identified by anymore. And say hello to a future. And don't wait till next week. Start today. Start as soon as you possibly can, making the changes. You can change. You will change. And it will be for the better. And with you, I want to be with you on that journey. So if this was an encouragement to you, please hit that like, hit that subscribe as we look to get fully free in soul, in heart, in mind, in strength, and in wallet.